Okay guys, welcome to this YouTube tutorial on Houdini. Today we're going to be doing this endless fluid emission effect. Okay, so let's get right into it. So what you're going to want to start off by doing is dropping down a geo, diving in, dropping down a test geo rubber toy, but you can use whatever you're planning or wanting to have fluid fall and endlessly fall from. Drop down a null, name the null flip source, make that visible, come out of that view, drop down a dot net. This is going to be our simulation. Dive in, drop down a flip object, connect a flip solver to that, and then connect a gravity to that, and connect the gravity to the output. Go to your flip object, on SOP path, pick flip source. Then go to close boundaries, tick on boundaries. If you click D in your viewport, go to geometry, display particles as pixels, and tick off display sprites. Then go to background, color scheme, make sure it's dark. Then come out of that view, tick off geo, go back into simulation. As you can see, it's not exactly clear, but it's there. That's your geometry. If you go to flip solver, volume motion, set box size to 5, 10, 5, and set box center Y to 5. We're gonna want to raise our rubber toy up a bit, so come out of that, go back into Geo 1, on the Y translate set it to like 5. Come out of that, go back into simulation, on flip object, set particle separation to 0.05, right click, home selected, and then you've got it kind of in the center. Then come out of this view, go to Geo, drop down a VDB from polygons, and put that into that between area. Then tick off distance VDB and tick on fog VDB. And set the voxel size to 0.01. Then after that, drop down a scatter. Once you've dropped down that scatter, set the force total count to 10,000. Come out of that view, go to the dot network, and drop down a volume source. Connect that to the fourth input of the flip solver. Go back to flip object, Control or Command C the SOP path and delete the SOP path. Go back to volume source, go to the SOP path, Control or Command V the SOP path in there. Then go to particles, source particles, remove the group particles, and if you click play, you should now have endless fluid coming from that object, which is great, and that should fill up this container, which is exactly what we want. And to make this into the liquid, viewable as liquid, drop down a geo, dive in, drop down a .io, and so this is so you can import your simulation, .network simulation, except if you come out of this view, hide the simulation here, dive into the geo, presets, flip fluid, and then file path explicit. I'm only gonna do this single frame that I'm on, which is 39. So I'm not going to cache anything out, but if I was to cache it out, I'd do frame range, explicit, copy this, and then go to the geometry folder where I want to do it and save and cache out. I'm going to show you how to do that just in case you don't know how to do that. So I'm going to go to my D drive, put it into there, so I'm just going to save it in here, come out and literally just whack that there, and then I'd literally just save to disk, and then that would cache out like that, but I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to get rid of that cache. Then I would drop down a particle fluid surface, make that visible, and so it's now a mesh, but it's not exactly very detailed, so I'm going to set it to a 0.05 on particle separation. And that's a bit more detailed, but I feel like it could be more detailed, and if you do want it to be more detailed, then maybe set it to 0.01. Okay, so if you set your particle separation like I just did to 0.01, this is what happens. It turns into weird pebbly stuff, which is maybe not what you want. On the particle fluid surface, what works for me is 0.03 on particle separation, but I do suggest playing around with these settings, particle separation, voxel scale, and then come out. If you go to the simulation, I also recommend playing with the flip object particle separation, and if you spend enough time messing around with it, you'll come out with the effect that you want. But I'm gonna stick with this just to show you the general effect. So now go to material palette, scroll down to basic liquid, drag that onto the material, drop down an environment light, and then connect a HDRI to it. And you can get HDRIs off of Polyhaven, for example, and I've just picked this HDRI here. So I've now set it to particle separation 0.025. I'm going to come out of OBJ, tick off simulation, go back into here, and have a look how it looks now. And I'd say that does look much better for me. I'm gonna re-render it. Make sure Geo2's visible once you're in a render view, and go to your camera. Now, as you can see, that is maybe a bit too bright, so if I was you, maybe turn off distant light or delete it. And on environment light, turn down the intensity of the light. But that is pretty much the effect. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this has helped your VFX workflow, and peace. Drop a like and subscribe.